Hey there, welcome back to Results Not Typical by No Pants Profits. My name is Richard, coming to you today on my non-monetized channel called Results Not Typical, because I've done cruise ship stuff, a lot of fun stuff on No Pants Profits, and I don't need this junk in there. But I do want to congratulate the people from StarStake for finally waking up and realizing that what they are doing is a security. So I do want to say congratulations for turning a passive income Ponzi into a job, because that's what you've literally turned it into. I'm going to go through the update. I have posted the update separately, but for those of you that are investors, you're no longer in a passive Ponzi scheme. You have now bought your way into a job, because you have to actively participate in order to make any rewards at all. No longer a passive Ponzi scheme, an actual job now. So Chris, Byron, Dwayne Noble, Alan Friedland, welcome to the IRS, and welcome to having to give out people tax forms and everything like that, collect social security numbers, because now people are going to be doing actual activities they're going to get rewards for, and that is a job. Again, I want to notice this is on my non-monetizable channel, but let's go ahead, let's watch it together. But the biggest thing for you to know, if you're tuning in, you're going, what the hell just changed? You've gone from a passive income Ponzi scheme to, believe it or not, a job. Full-time job if you want to be beneficial. So let's listen, let's go over. I want to play this in full. I will interject where I believe interjection is needed here, but this is the latest update, and it was actually done today. We're going to run into tomorrow while watching it, but here we go. Chris Hawk Jones StarStake update January 25th, 2023, and as I predicted in previous videos, StarStake is going to be delayed till at least Valentine's Day, but we're going to watch it, we're going to comment it. Here we go. Takes a minute for the audio to come on, but you don't miss anything.
Yo, just wanted to go live to the community here, just because it's been a minute since I've talked about anything on.
You can say that again. It's been a minute. Yeah, you know, the StarStake game was coming in early December. StarStake was going to launch in December. He's going to answer for a lot of this soon, but I don't agree with the answers, but they are answers. So yeah, it's been a minute, Chris. You can say that again.
On here, and there's a reason for that, and there's lots of exciting things, almost like it's just been piling up and now it's overflowing. So I was like, okay, I have to go live tonight. We gotta talk about stuff. So that's the reason. I just wanted to say hi to you all as well, and talk about some of the changes in StarHub that happened yesterday, I think it was. So we'll get started in just a second. Good.
Now remember, StarHub is, again, their white label Discord. That's all StarHub is. StarStake is something different, but StarStake still has a 2021 copyright date as of right now. If you think I'm making this up, hold on. Just for giggles. I'm going to starstake.com. This will show you, and this, oh, we have a development one, and we have a not development one. Look, this thing hasn't been touched in forever. It says 2021 in the bottom corner. Okay. Cool, Chris. Let's continue. I'm going to play this in full, because nothing's going to be taken out of context if I play it in full. I'm just hitting the space bar to start and stop it.
To see everybody, wow, everybody just like jumped on here and just piled in here so quick. It was pretty cool. More and more I use StarHub here, the more I enjoy it. It's kind of weird. Like, I have so many things going on and during the day, and all these different platforms, right? And you know, I'm used to those other ones, and then I come in here and this is kind of new, and even it's new to us, and yet I still.
All it is a thing called Mighty Networks that they pay a $20 a month subscription to. It's not new. It's not exciting. It's not different. It's a white label Discord knockoff.
Like it. It feels fresh to me. It just feels different. And of course, it's the community that makes this special. It's not about the tech necessarily, but I always come in here, I'm like, man, this is so clean. It's just.
Yeah, it's not about the tech, because you bought the tech. You built the community.
Feels great. And I'm so excited to get creators on here to talk about their creations and their economies, and then fans to have raving fans talking about all the things they're doing. So as this is intended, this community StarHub is to really be about StarStake, and more so, it's not even StarStake, it's the creations and the things that StarStake produces, and we're not seeing that yet, obviously, because we haven't launched. So
we haven't launched. We were going to launch a year ago, a year and a half ago. We were going to launch we were going to launch January 2022. We were going to launch February 2022. We had this guy, his name was Alan Friedland. We don't talk about Alan. No. Yeah, okay, Chris, let's go on.
I can't wait for that day, because I believe StarHub is really built for that. And when that time comes here soon, we'll be able to really enjoy this thing. So for now, you just have to listen to me, but we get to hang out together, and we get to do some cool stuff. And soon it's going to be a party, that's for sure. So, all right. So I just want to see who we got on here. So many familiar faces. Samuel, Shang, hey, what's up? My wife's son. She's probably in the kitchen cooking something. So I love it. Joseph, hey, good to see you here. Vu, Scott in the house. Dean, Tor, Clinton, Ray, Eric, Shelby, Dwayne, always. Good to see you.
Byron Sneeringer, always. You notice who's not there? Alan's not there because Alan can't be there because Alan's still got some troubles in the past. But again, I want to give them credit. They come clean on a lot of this, so we're going to play this through. And I'm not doing this as a troll. I'm doing this to tell you the damn truth, is they've taken a passive income Ponzi and turned it into a job.
Thank you. Yaz, Tim, Brian. Who else we got here? Rob Curtis, good to have you here. Good old Rich. Kelly, Erica, Nico, good to have you. Jen, and gosh, people are just coming in. So I won't take up too much of your time, but I just want to talk.
This goes on for an hour. Again, I want to play it in full so nothing's taken out of context. This is posted as full without my commentary too, but I think my commentary is very useful here.
And chat to you. I have a more formal update for you all coming soon that you can share and that you can digest and pull apart and all this cool stuff. But I didn't want to wait because it's just, like I said, it's overflowing all the great, cool things that we're doing. So I'm going to read some of my notes, but I wanted to clarify a few things, let you know what's going on in my world and what's going on in StarStake world and the discussions that we're having, kind of just to be a little bit of a fly in the wall.
Not going to mention a single celebrity, and he's going to go later on, oh, all they do is mention Shang. Well, because that's all you have right now. There's, oh, we can't say other celebrities till the platform's ready. I'm a bigger celebrity than Shang if you look at the number of YouTube subscribers on my main page. No pants profits, not on this little results not typical, which is amazing. I'm a guy who wears no pants, has 25 subscribers, and they've listened to me.
And understand, like, hey, these are the things we're talking about and where we're at and where StarStake's at in relation to getting launched and creators and who's coming, who's going, all these kinds of things. Okay. So that's really the purpose of this. Nothing formal, nothing fancy. I'm sure somebody will pick it apart somewhere just because that's what people do.
Hey, Chris, how are you? I'm going to pick it apart somewhere because that's what I do. Again, I'm doing this for your investors, your potential future investors, your potential future customers, your potential future stars.
But it's really important that we communicate. And I just want to do more of this and have some fun with it. Because, man, if you guys could just, and maybe I need to document this more. I know I do, time permitting, of course, but just the things that we discuss on a daily basis, it's pretty mind-blowing. And I don't think a lot of people get to experience that on a new company. And anytime you're a startup, the things that go
again, company startup. They're going to pay out money to people for doing actions. Oh, sorry, I went a little ahead. But I want you to be aware, company, this is going to get into the IRS and get into some fun stuff with taxation and tax laws later, which we haven't even talked about yet because we've been all in DeFi. But now we're going to leave the crypto space a little bit and go into earning income in other ways. That's it.
Into it are such a mystery, right? Like, when you look at companies like SpaceX or some of these other, I mean, even like back in the day, Ford Motors, like the conversations that have to happen for a company to come out with a product, their first product, for a company to come out to the public and explain and share what they're all about and reiterate the vision and tell stories. And it's always constantly changing. And it's such a kind of a mystery to what people really get to experience, right? Like most people get to experience the iPhone or the car or whatever the byproduct is of that company. And so I think we'd be doing ourselves a bit of a disservice if we didn't share the behind the scenes conversations that we have, because some days they're good. Some days they're amazing. And some days they're like, oh man, this is rough. Like, this is how are we going to get through this? Like, how are we going to figure this out? And the one thing that we have here as a company, and I will say this,
Keyword again, it's a company. This ain't DeFi or anything like that. Well, nothing. Let's be brutally honest for a second. Nothing that StarStake or Energy doing is DeFi because the contracts for the energy on Polygon are not locked. Yes, on Ethereum it's locked, but on Polygon it's not locked. They're changing rules. They're going out and about. If you're an investor, you're like, what the fuck? These contracts are not locked. They can change rules whenever they want. But I digress. Today we're going to talk mainly about StarStake.
We're so fortunate, and I'm so fortunate, and StarStake to have the team that we have and the brains and the passion. You guys, I've had amazing executives work for me in the past and be part of projects I was part of, but
Again, this is a lot of fluff, but I don't want to cut any of it out because I don't want to be to say, oh, I'm selectively doing the things. I'm just hitting the space bar. I'm not fast forwarding, and I might rewind if there's something particularly good, but I'm just hitting the space bar.
I've never seen the level of passion that our team has for this and ownership of this product. They believe. They believe in doing the right things. They believe in quality and security, and the right values are in place. And it's just really, really a great thing because it makes building something as hard as this so much fun. I mean, it really does. It just makes everything that much easier when it's that hard and you got some guy that you can call up, one of your execs, one of your team members, whether that's Cap um, or Tarek or Maria or our designers or developers. I mean, just to have them and have the ear and they're listening, always learning, always moving forward. It's really great. And look, not every day is a great day, and not every idea works out. Uh,
Yeah, you had a year and a half of bad years of not launching your product you said's been ready for the last year and a half.
Not everything is going to be polished day one, and we know that, but um, we're just super blessed and super fortunate to have the talent that we have here. Because, look, I mean, for people to come work for a startup, it's a risk, right? Like if you're going to leave a job, especially if you're that good, if you're really talented, like we have here, to leave what you're doing before, if you're that successful, to come here, it's a risk because we're a startup. We can
Hey, look, Chris, this guy, he's a great CMO, Chief Marketing Officer. That's what he is. Alan's the guy who's really doing this in the background. Alan Friedland, at the end of the day, is the money guy. He's the one making all the big decisions. Alan friggin' CFTC Friedland. Maria's good at putting on live events. Tarek is great at writing blockchain smut porn. Chris Kapnick is great at buying press releases and then getting Yahoo to publish them. We'll get to that a little later, but there's your team.
fail. Companies fail. That's what happens.
Companies fail. That's what happens. It's a company. It'll likely fail. You'll hear why.
So it is a risk for them, and it means a lot to us to have them. So, hey, Maria, good to see you. She's the hostess with the mostest around here. So let me just start out by just saying we've gone through a lot of exciting times here since, let's just say, since November, and since Mission NFTs were launched, and we started to
Since the security that is a Mission NFT was launched, I want to correct him because he's going to correct me later, so I should correct him.
like really talk about things and talk about the game that's coming. And believe me, we're
The game that was supposed to come in December. Teach people all about StarStake. I remember that. So you'd have money for Christmas. You get Minter tokens and everything like that. Guarantee you this project's about to get delayed again. Because remember, it was supposed to be launched by the end of January. January 25th, coming on January 26th in 6 minutes.
in the knee deep into that as well, and all the things. But as we were kind of looking at launching StarStake, originally we were thinking, okay, end of November, we can do this, after the Mission NFTs, because the Mission NFTs are like the ticket in many ways.
They're the security that got you $700,000 minus commissions. Where'd that money go, Chris? People would love to know where that money went.
And they serve so many purposes, but we're like, okay, well, we'll launch version 1 right on the backside of that. And you had the holiday there, the end of November, and we had some things that we had to finish and go.
More excuses, more excuses. Told you this was coming if you watched my previous videos. They're never gonna launch this. They're never gonna launch this. Because they're not going to, because they have no stars, but
go through as a company. And then December hit, and we're like, okay, let's do it in December. We can manage this. And so, the tech was getting finished up, and we were running actuaries on it. And thing for me was running a really deep risk analysis on everything, and just making sure it was stable and all things were working. And it just takes a great deal of time, and I'll explain kind of why. And Cap and some of you guys watching this on the team, it, because it's not as simple as like, hey, let me go in here and test the software as a user and see if it works. We have a lot of different user types. You guys, part of StarStake is you're creating this creation platform for creators and brands to be able to create an entire Web3 economy, and I'll explain what that really means. And then you have
they're building a platform and a product for economy that doesn't exist. Oh, it's futuristic. It's this. No, Don't buy it, guys. If you're an investor, if you're looking to buy energy tokens, if you're looking to buy the next StarStake NFT that they're going to sell, even though they're not going to sell NFTs anymore, but they will. But let's continue.
Have users, right, who participate with that. But then you have the support user types, which mean like the managers and agents. So who's going to help those creators do these things? The manager agent profiles, because we didn't want to just launch a software in the Web3 world on blockchain and not allow there to be support. And so how do you financially connect those pieces together? And how do you, as far as access, connect them together? So because it is Web3, it uses wallets and such, it's kind of complex. So there's, every time you test something, let me give you an idea. If I want to test the NFT bucks, for example, I'd have to go in as a creator and I'd log into that account. So you'd have a separate wallet for that creator, and you go in there and do something. Maybe you mint a buck, and then you mint it and you check everything out, make sure all the things are checked off our list. Yes, all systems go there. Great. Okay, now as a user, I create a different wallet, log in as a user. I go and look at that buck. Am I interacting properly? Is it doing what it's supposed to do as a user? Then I add it to cart and I buy it, right? And so then I buy it and I look in my stake hub. Is it there? And we check it out. And can I do
None of this is wrong. This is standard QA testing done for any piece of software. Again, I don't disagree with anything they've said so far. Let's be very clear.
things with it? And we have to test all those systems. Okay, great. Now let me check the manager. Did the manager get their credit? Did the agent get their piece of the pie of that sale? And so you look at that, and can they see their stats and data, right? So you have to create wallets for each of those user types. And then does that user spend that buck, and how does that affect those other people? And so there's just a lot of branches, if you will, that have to be looked at.
And we're talking about royalties, stuff like that. If we're not talking the crypto space, which we're not really talking passive income anymore, we're talking in the IRS space. We're talking in the tax space. I want you to remember, the biggest criminals in the world, Al Capone, a lot of mobsters and stuff, were not brought down by the actual crimes they committed. They were brought down by tax fraud. This looks like a tax fraud problem waiting to happen, but we'll get there.
Look, if one little thing kind of breaks, it does branch off to those other users, because typically it will break those communications, those pieces. So it just takes a long time to really do this. So that was kind of a little bit unexpected, a little bit not. But look, we embrace it, because we're not going to launch a product to the market. I always say, to everybody, like, we're not going to launch an iPhone that can't make phone calls or drops calls every other call. It's just, it doesn't do anybody any good. So anyways.
Right, but I mean, and the first iPhone, I'm going to give Chris some credit here. Look, I'm going to give this guy some major friggin' credit right here. The first iPhone launched with no apps, e.g., let's call them stars right now. But again, the first iPhone was a revolutionary phone, an internet communicator, and a music thing in your pocket. And just so, I don't know how many of you know the story of the iPhone, I'm sure Chris knows, it actually wasn't one device when they first announced it. It was about 20, and each one could do a single function, and then it had to go down, and then they built for 6 months like crazy until they get the software to actually work. But I just think that's kind of a funny story there. But yeah, the first iPhone didn't have an app store, so I'll give them that.
Here we are in December, and we're ready to launch things, and we're super stoked. I mean, we were working on all the marketing materials, the funnels,
and remember, they literally, this is crazy, they haven't given any update on this. It's coming, it's coming, it's coming. That's all the update's been.
Messaging and videos and all this stuff, super ready to pretty much go out there and launch V1. And because we're doing a rollout, right? So you have V1, which is certain systems, and then shortly after that, a few weeks, we'll have the next system, just so we don't have any scale problems. And anyway, so there we are. It's December, and we started looking at things, and we really needed to kind of step back. And we're like, okay, well, these things are working, and certain things were just being wrapped up, and we're like, okay, we have to account for this. Well, sometimes you have to step back and ask yourself, okay, why are we doing these things? Are these things just for fun, or do they really solve problems? So let me pull up my notes here. So some key things that we put into place were what I call the 3 pillars of StarStake, our design philosophy. Okay. And these are always 3 things that we have to keep in mind when we're building this thing. Because if we get away from that, it gets too complicated, and we end up doing things we shouldn't, right? So these 3 key pillars, and I'll do a different presentation, a formal one, but I want you guys to know about this. So the first thing when we're building this is the feature, or whatever we're building, does it deliver a usable experience, right? Is it a usable experience in the Web3 world, right?
And you know what, from a Scrum Master, web designer, UI, all these other testing positions. This is great. But again, this is a presentation to investors you're making right now.
For Web 2 people, okay? For a Web 2 world that we live in now, social media and all this content and everything, is it a usable experience? Meaning, is it so just ridiculously complicated, or is it so different that it just doesn't make it usable? Like it's a hassle, right? Is every feature usable? Okay. The second thing that has to be there is it accessible to everyone, regardless of technical experience or anything. There can't be any crypto reliance. There can't be, annoying gas fees. There can't be disconnects that where you're just like, oh, this isn't worth it. Is it accessible for everyone? And the third thing is the feature or whatever it is that we're building, are those features meaningful, and are they faster, easier, and better than what people are currently using? Okay, I'll say that again. Is it these meaningful features? Are they meaningful? Are they faster, easier, and better than what people are currently using? And so those are the three things we always have to ask ourselves. And so when we built StarStake, we have Creator Hub for creators to mint things, and we have Stake Hub for users to manage their portfolios and performance. And then you have these different NFT types, right? We had these three NFT types: NFT bucks. You have StarStake NFTs that allow rewards and things to and access, and then you have access NFTs that are kind of the distribution mechanism to deliver products and services and all kinds of stuff. So you had these three things, but then we had to step back and say, how do they work together? How are these three talking to each other, right? And so if I'm a user and I buy a buck, how does that buck, what do I do with that, and how does that affect the SNFT? And then if I have that StarStake NFT, how am I getting rewards? And so we had to ask ourselves some really important questions. And at our core, right, really what we're trying to do, in my opinion, is we're trying to create a middle class for creators. Okay.
They're trying to create a middle class for creators. I want you to be aware of that and think about that, because we talk about StarStake has no stars. StarStake has been out there on Twitter pounding to try and get people in to be their creators. They're not going to have A-list celebrities, Again, he's going to joke later, but I do think that Shang Belmonte is probably the best they have, or No Pants Profits, because, I have more YouTube subscribers than Shang does. Just have to point that fact out. But, it's not going for the high end. It's not going for the household names. This is a big friggin' pivot from what they've said they were going to do with stars for the people that have 50 million subscribers that Alan has promised in a car before. So be aware. I'm not going to call this video StarStake has no stars, but I do believe that they have no stars.
Okay. You're always going to have the 1% that excel, that you look at the YouTubers that less than 1% that are making all that money, right? And you have all these people who create content that are struggling. Their opportunities are limited. And so we really want to try to cultivate this middle class where a person on StarStake can come here and create a livable income, can create something that helps them do more of what they want to do.
Creating new creators, not bringing on existing creators. They literally just admitted they have no stars. But I digress. That's not what this video is about.
Not go out there and create content because the algorithm requires them to, right? So if you notice that a lot of the creators out there, just in the social media world, they're doing and asking of us fans to do things because that's how they get paid, right? So anytime you see somebody that says, hey, like and subscribe, they're actually asking you, help me make money, okay?
So interestingly, this channel has never said like and subscribe. I never will say like and subscribe, and I only say it on my other channel when I'm real drunk. Because sometimes I get drunk and do videos and it's kind of amusing, but you're never going to hear me say like and subscribe, because I don't want money from this. I just want to have an archive that I can teach people with, and if I make a crumb of money here and there, I'll take it. But this is not about money for me, especially because you're watching this on our channel that's not monetized right now.
That's really what they're doing. But as a fan, they're asking you to do something without getting anything in return, really, right? They just have to feed themselves, so they'll do anything they have to. And unfortunately, those platforms, right, are kind of determining the kind of content you see. Because look, if content that's short and flashy and whatever's trending, right, if that's hot, they're going to design their algorithm to get more of that, so more people spend time on their platform, even though the creator may not want to do that. I know my wife, she does TikToks and stuff for her music. She's a musician. She doesn't want to have to do some of these, dance things and just funny videos. That's not her thing, but that's what people want, or that's what the algorithm wants. And for her content to even be seen, she has to do it, right? So there's this disconnect. So we want to create that middle class where you can create all the things that you want to do and make a livable income to do more of the things you want to do. Okay. We want to bridge the Web 2 engagement with tiered Web 3 loyalty. That's a really important thing to us. And really, what Web 3 does is it just unlocks the possibility for creators to offer more. Okay. NFTs, we don't even talk about StarStake. You guys, internally, we've been going about this in a way where we don't even consider StarStake as an NFT platform. We don't talk about NFTs. And the reason, and I mean internally, and you'll notice on our new messaging coming, because NFTs are just the tool, it's the mechanism, it's the building blocks for creators to build things. That's all it is, you guys. It's not about, hey, and I know this is the world we live in. Like people see NFTs as like, buy this and maybe it'll go up in value or something. Like it's very much art, right? To us, NFTs are a building, it's a Lego block. It's a block that a person can use in so many ways and create different things for it. It just unlocks the possibilities of offering more. And so we really had to look back and say, do our NFTs really do that? And we started looking at the press releases that have gone out recently, and we have a new one coming out in Forbes magazine. We have another one on.
All right, let's be very clear with this for a second with these press releases. These are paid for press releases by newswires. These are not companies that are willingly writing about StarStake. They've got a guy, Chris Cap, whatever the heck they want to call him, that is going to a press release service. If you go to the bottom of any of these StarStake articles, you can actually see the. Let's see if we can find this. I think that's interesting. We will go to see what we can find. Well, I don't want to go to .com. I just want to Google StarStake. Yeah. StarStake. All right. So I've got this here. We're going to click on news. StarStake on a mission to go where no Web3 platform has gone before. January 13th, 2023, 6-minute read. This is not an article. This is a press release that they have issued. You'll see if we go story continues. This is a press release. Contractor has a StarStake. Christopher Cap. This is just a press release. This is a paid release. They have paid news services to act. Okay, Bazinga is another good example. They have a paid news service that's actually doing this. Okay, so they subscribed to a thing called newswire.com. Nobody is writing about them. Nobody gives a shit about them. If I click on newswire.com, what is Newswire? It's a place that you can buy and create and submit press releases, and they'll go to these garbage websites. That's all this is. This is nothing special, nothing unique, nothing different. You can get Newswire Digital, Newswire Plus, and look, it's showing you who they even go to. Yahoo, AP. You can see exactly who they're going to. That's funny. They're just, that's all they are, a newswire. And then you can view the different list of stuff that they'll go to. Alabama, Alaska, California, Delaware, Florida. That's all this is. They're not press releases. Nobody's actually covering this crap. But I digress. I just wanted to show you that.
Entrepreneur magazine. You might have seen some of the other ones recently. Is we wanted to get the message. We're not just NFTs that added some utility. Like you'll notice a lot of platforms right now are doing that. They're trying to say, how can we be the next big thing? And they're just like taking NFTs and trying to plow some utility into it. And what does that mean, utility? Like they're trying to make it do stuff, right? They're trying to make it valuable in a way that you can do it. But look, if you're going to use NFTs that do things that you're already doing in Web 2, right? So if you're going to use NFTs to deliver content, well, you don't need an NFT to do that.
He's 100% right. Again, I don't really disagree with anything he's saying so far, other than these press releases are paid press releases. And that's a fact. You can look this up. They're paid.
You might as well use whatever else you're doing out there, because it is easier. It's faster. You don't need a wallet. You don't need any of that. It's not necessary. So people are trying to force Web 2 into this NFT world to give it utility because you can, which is certainly true. But really, what's the value to the creator and to us to make it worthwhile? Again, to make it more usable, to make it accessible to everybody. and to make it meaningful faster and better than what they're already doing. Otherwise, nothing matters, right? StarStake will it'll just come out there and people will be like, why do I need this?
The most truthful thing the guy said in 17 minutes. StarStake won't matter. It'll come out and people will say, why do I need this? I'm going to play the rest. I don't want to take this out of context, but that's a pretty good line right there, Chris. Thanks.
What am I supposed to do with that thing? That looks nice, but what am I going to do with it? Right. And we've studied different NFT platforms over the last 4 months or so. And from stars, and we've started NFT drops and projects. And even the AAA stars couldn't sell up their stuff and they couldn't get their users to their.
Now they're talking about Shaq. They're talking about big people. Yeah, I mean, the world in the last 7 months since crypto crashed has gone to kind of SHITT hockey sticks. You know, that's the reality of it. He's right.
Perspective. Some of them even said we couldn't even give them away. I've heard this twice, maybe more, but twice for sure. They couldn't even give their NFTs to people because it was too hard. It wasn't usable. It wasn't accessible. They didn't have wallets. They were on their phone. It didn't work on the phone. So that's just where we had to like step back and look at, okay, we have the amazing product as we were talking about these different NFTs and
Well, the product doesn't exist yet.
Creator Hub and access, all that's there ready to go. But is it usable? Is it going to be something that people are going to go from YouTube to here, to go to any other platform and come here and want to be here and say, wow, that was amazing. Wow, I got something I've never got before. Or wow, I can get that. I can do that. I feel this way, right? They feel appreciated. They feel valuable. Things feel meaningful. These are all really important things that, and trust me, they're so ridiculously hard to do. And that's probably why nobody's doing it. But anyway, so those were the pillars of really what our design philosophy is here. And again, I'll make a presentation for you guys soon. Web3 is enabling the financialization of everything with the theme of ownership and access at its core. Okay, so that's kind of like our thing. So I wanted to read you a couple other things before I get into these updates that you're going to love. It's pretty exciting. The one thing is business models define incentives, and incentives drive the content that users create. Offering more direct monetization models, basically where users pay creators, that can encourage creators to align their content with what end users value versus creating content that maximizes watch time or virality or whatever. So it really just aligns more. If we can create this really great incentive model that benefits both parties, then they can focus their content not on trying to become a viral, anything, or try to get views or watch times just so they can get their stuff seen. Okay, as I kind of explained. Here's a quote I heard from someone. I don't have the source, I apologize, but seeing more value captured by users, both individually and collectively, is one of the most exciting aspects of Web3. It removes intermediaries from traditional Web2 aggregators and gatekeepers, which is the key for the democratization of income creation in the digital world. Really interesting quote. It makes
Now that's like the whole background of energy and the community bank and everything like that.
a lot of sense. It relates to us a lot. So one thing about us, the community aspect is a central component of StarStake. Okay.
The cult aspect. I'm still not going back on the fact that it's a cult. Just today in the Discord, which I've got on this phone, which makes me laugh so hard. The Discord, 5 people got kicked because they said things that Dwayne Noble, Byron Sneeringer didn't like. Come on.
Okay. And relationships, and basically, as Dan Kennedy says, creating customers for life. Think about that. If you're a brand, or if you're a business, if you're a creator of any type, you want to create a customer or a fan for life, right? In order to do that, you have to be able to build relationships. You have to be able to build not followers, not likes, relationships, like meaningful ones. And there's certain things that have to be in place for us to do this. And this is where I'm getting to. All right. So let me just go into, all right. So we had to ask ourselves some really important questions as a company. And this is what we've been doing, as of early December. So how will users go from Web 2 to Web 3 without knowing or feeling like they're going into this new realm? Okay. We don't want it to feel Japanese. We want it to feel like it's just where they belong. It's familiar. Okay. How will customers or users be acquired? So how are people going to get on platform for the very first time? How are they going to get introduced? What's our exposure and what's our risk? Are we solving the right problems?
Again, these are all fantastic questions, and I have nothing bad to say about it.
Problems to our target market, which we're launching, is to independent creators. And that could be authors, experts, it could be artists, it could be musicians, it could be brands, but mostly on the independent side. Okay.
Mostly on the independent side, so meaning not having the representation or anything like that. That's what it's really talking about. Small, unknown.
And then with that, we know, and we've already started attracting brands to this and big organizations.
I don't believe it. Sorry, Chris. Your YouTube page has let's see, like 500 and change subscribers. You have no community. You're talking like Alan now, which is not a good thing. It's you have 553 subscribers on YouTube. Let me just see on Twitter. Let's see what they got on Twitter. We've got how many followers on Twitter? 287 followers on Twitter. You got nothing. Stop talking like you have something.
Organizations, okay? And they have a certain specific set of problems. Like first of all, there's no community ownership or control right now. They don't own their communities. And this is a big piece that we just upgraded here, and I'll share it with you. It's kind of alluded to it earlier, but is creators don't own their communities. If YouTube cancels you and shuts you down, you no longer have access to that community. You don't own it. It's a problem for anybody who is out there. Okay.
So they're going to use that to talk about why they don't have many subscribers on YouTube.
Both fan and creator feel underappreciated. There's a lack of opportunities. Obviously, you see, creators out there doing so many things. You see, this is why the course and e-learning industry blew up like it did recently. Is because
no, the course and e-learning industry blew up because of COVID. If you're talking about real thing, but I mean, yes, I mean, you're talking from a creator's side. Yeah, I agree. More creators are making these courses because they can't make as much money from ad revenue. So yeah, I agree there, Chris.
Because it was the next easiest thing, basically one of the only things that, influencers could sell, unless they want to create merchandise or products or do live events. It's like, hey, I can create information and sell information. So e-learning just exploded, right? But that takes a lot of work. But there's limited opportunities on the platforms themselves that are real true opportunities. They're disconnected from their audience and community. Both parties aren't really happy about it, but they get by. If you look at like YouTube and Instagram, they have like these membership programs where, as a creator, you can charge money or people pay money to get additional content, which is crazy when you think about it, because it's already, if you know that world, it's so hard to keep up with it. And now you're like, I got to figure out what kind of content I have to give people for the money they're paying. And you're always kind of fighting that internal battle of like, is this good enough? Is this valuable? Is it worth paying this money? Right. So there's that. And it's just really deprioritized. These creators are they're doing things not for the best reasons for their fans. Okay.
I'm doing these things for the best reasons of people. I'm making no money on this. I'm watching this stupid crap for the second time. I mean, I am doing other stuff on my phone and stuff while I'm watching it and commenting to you, but I'm doing this to prevent people from getting suckered into this, to tell people the truth. That's why I'm doing this.
And so looking at that, that's the Web 2 world. That's the world we live in kind of today. And that's subscriber followers. That's all those places, traditional businesses, your Shopify's and all of that. So we said, okay, what are the layers of StarStake? And the layers, I basically created these 3 different categories of layers. And when you come to StarStake, it's these layers that make up this thing. And this is what we do really well. And this is what we're going to change the game with. Okay. The first is connection and ownership. You come to StarStake, the first thing we're going to solve or help you do is create connections and ownership. It's what I call the connection ownership layer. Okay. A real decentralized connection to your community that you officially own. As we had it early December, we didn't have a mechanism.
Oh, we linked off for a second. Give me 2 seconds. Let me get that.
It's not for the right reason.
I'm going to go back a few seconds because we lost a couple seconds because I changed some stuff on my phone. Sorry.
Is create connections and ownership. It's what I call the connection ownership layer. Okay. A real decentralized connection to your community that you officially own. As we had it early December, we didn't have a mechanism for that unless somebody bought an NFT. Okay. So then you're connected, but it's not for the right reasons. And we also had to look at what kind of positions are we putting creators in? Are we putting them in a position where they have to go out to their email list, to their audience, their customers and sell? They don't like doing that. I don't like doing that. Nobody likes doing that. So if NFTs on StarStake were only for selling, you're giving them something they don't want to do. And even harder than that, they don't know anything about this. They're not going to know how to explain it. So we don't want to put people, and on top of that, there is no safeguard for human nature. So if things are hard, what do? Well, we fall back on what's the easiest thing. If one of the easiest things to do is sell something a certain way and make a promise or a guarantee just to help people get in the door, people will do it. And we can't put them in a position where they have to do that or feel like they have to, because that puts us at risk, everybody at risk. So the first layer is, how do we create ownership? How do you get all your followers and all your audience everywhere else in Web 2, your customer bases? How do you get them onto StarStake in the easiest, fastest, funnest, like the most fun, exciting, whatever? Like, just do it seamlessly where it doesn't feel like you did anything. It's just better. Okay. So that's what that ownership layer. And we're like, wow, we don't have that. Right? Like, okay, you can come buy my bucks, or you can buy my SNFT. We had all these cool mechanisms and stuff, but when it came down to it, how do you get that first exposure? And in the marketing world, how many of you guys know what a sales funnel is? I'm not going to assume, because I've been doing that too much lately. How many?
I'm not going to assume because I've been doing that too much lately. Like thinking that everything Alan said is perfectly legal. We'll get there in a minute. Just makes me laugh.
Know what a sales funnel is? You heard of it? I think most of you, your business owners and stuff, entrepreneurs, you should know. But put in the chat, let me know. Do you know what a sales funnel? Lynn, of course I know you know what a sales funnel. You're Miss Sales.
Lynn, who makes cookies for StarStake. That's all she does. I love Lynn. Lynn is going to be devastated when this fails.
Funnel. Okay, I think a lot. Yeah, I think you're jiving. You're tracking me here. So in a sales funnel world, right? Like, you wouldn't just send somebody from an advertisement to a hard sell. Typically not, right? So you give something for free, or you create what you call an email opt-in. And so that person would come to a page and be like, hey, get my newsletter, or get my free download, or join my community for free. And they put in a name and an email, whatever. It allows you to build that list. Again, what does that do? Helps you own your community. That email list, people tell me all the time, I hear it all the time, even friends of mine, like, oh, email's dead, Chris. Okay, tell that to a company that has an email list, and they'll tell you the value of it. It's not true. Yes, deliverability, inbox rates are low.
Again, this guy, as far as marketing is concerned, he knows what the fuck he's doing. He really does. I never said he doesn't know how to market. I said Alan runs the company. I've never said Chris is not a great marketer. I'd hire Chris as my CMO.
Or whatever, but you still own that community. It's your email list. You can control it. You can advertise, share. You can do a lot of things with that. So in the marketing world, there's an easy way to kind of onboard people into your brand, create something for free, give them some kind of incentive to come to you. They give you your email. Now you can start to deliver great value, introduce them to your products, your brand, etc. Typical stuff, right? Kind of just been around forever. But in Web3, notice there's not anything like that. Look around. Go to any NFT platform. Is there anything like it? No. Nobody's thinking like, hey, what's worked for the last decade, 2 decades, 3 decades, right? What's worked? Shouldn't we do that here? Or should we?
I mean, there are MLM aspects to crypto things, and MLMs primarily work in funnels. Even, I'm going to talk directly to someone right now. Even Dwayne Noble, Byron Sneeringer's website has the DeFi Dark Horse. There's a funnel to get you in with special Discord and everything like that. So this isn't something revolutionary. Byron's even doing it with DeFi Dark Horse. He's been doing it a lot longer than Chris had this aha moment.
We just say, hey, we're going to create a platform. You got to buy stuff. And nobody cares how you do it. Because really the model is like, hey, get on my whitelist and then I'm going to drop it. And then it's like the momentum dies. There is no there's no growth rate. It's like, or it's just like you don't do anything. It flat.
That's like the Mission Series 1 NFTs. And then, yeah.
Lines, okay? So we wanted this to be a platform that can nurture people and build relationships. And you build relationships by what? Communicating. How do you do that in Web3? And so we really looked at that connection. And that's where we said, hey, let's create an NFT that isn't an NFT. I know it doesn't make sense, kind of silly, but that's where Star Connect came in. So we created this mechanism, this product inside of StarStake that every creator gets to be able to create their own collectible baseball card thing, kind of. Okay. It's like an opt-in, but it's an NFT. So you create your own personalized NFT. It's your trading card, right? And you get a you can customize the look of it and all this cool stuff. It's pretty amazing. And then you get a landing page, so you can customize your landing page and you can customize your bridge page, which after somebody gets your free NFT. So how it works, if I'm on YouTube, I say, hey guys, come over to StarStake. I have my free Star Connect NFT where I'm going to drop content to you every week. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to give you this value. Da 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 da. Okay, and they come over.
So he's alluding to something he's going to get into that's actually an interesting pivot. I'll be honest with you, this is a very interesting pivot. He's going to talk about everything I've talked about in my previous videos. I want you to listen to this because it's an interesting pivot, but it also creates another problem where you're going from a passive income Ponzi to a full-time job in order to make revenue.
Over to StarStake, they come to your landing page. They can't go anywhere else or do anything. They just click a button. And if they don't have a wallet, they use our new Magic Wallet solution, which is super easy. It's better than Fortmatic. They use Magic Wallet just by putting their email address in. Boom.
Don't you remember just Fortmatic was the best like 2 months ago? It was going to be so much better than having a MetaMask account.
They have a wallet and they hit a button and it drops that free NFT to their wallet. They don't have any idea what just happened. They just got something, right? It's pretty cool. And that landing page you can customize to offer value any way you want. And that's like your rookie card. That's your entry into Web3, but they didn't have to buy it. You didn't have to sell it. You didn't have to explain it. You just said, hey, I want to connect you together. I want to officially on the blockchain make us official. Like we're dating now, right? Like we are going out. This is real. This is for real. Just like when people go on like, hey, I'm engaged to so-and-so on Facebook. I'm dating so-and-so, right? And that's essentially kind of the same thing here. So now, like if I'm a fan of Gary Vee could be like, hey, I just launched my Star Connect NFT on StarStake. Grab it. It's my rookie. It's the first edition I'll ever have. If you have this, it basically date and timestamps the day that you became his fan or anybody's fan, right? Super important because where the data comes in. So it's really cool. You can just now go to this page, you get this free thing. You can also create token gated content. All that means is only people that have that NFT in their wallet will be able to access some cool content. And you
Again, this is all a little bit boring. This is stuff you've heard before, but I don't want anything taken out of context, so I'm going to play the whole thing.
can customize that section all you want. So you could put in video and links to stuff. And then also this builds a list. It's the same as like an email list, but now you have a list of wallet holders that have your Star Connect. And with our new drop system, guess what you can do? You can now drop NFTs and announcements and value and perks and all this cool stuff to just those Star Connect members, right? So if you have 1 million subscribers, that's cool. You may have 1 million subscribers, but what is it like to have 1 million Star Connect fans? Right. This is really interesting because if StarStake goes away tomorrow, if it disappears, you don't lose that community as long as those people still have that NFT in their wallet.
Right, but what actually brings them together? It's a nice theory. They still have that NFT, but you still need another platform. So the platform is still important here.
You can still communicate with them. They can still communicate with you.
You can still communicate with them just via an NFT. I don't think that's how things work.
Right. So as more platforms, because I was thinking, I was like, okay, what's going to happen in the future with NFTs? Well, platforms are going to start accepting NFTs as a form of like a gateway. We call it token.
Well, there are actually already platforms that do that. There's a thing that I have called Watch Token that actually helps you track how much you're making in passive income, and you have to hold a certain amount of Watch Token per income you have. But it's not the future, it's now, Chris.
Token gating, right? So Shopify has this function. If you have a certain NFT in your wallet, you can access a part of that store, or you can get a discount in that store, right?
Yeah, the name of that app was Yield Watch. You need to have a certain amount of Watch Token to use Yield Watch.
Already doing that. So knowing that, we're like, let's just get everybody on StarStake and get them their community NFT, because when this thing really rolls outside of StarStake, they can just say, hey, all you community members here, you can't do this on YouTube, by the way. Everybody that has my Star Connect, I'm opening up my Shopify discount to you. Make sure you get this, right? It's automatically integrated into all those platforms. But who's going to get everybody's community to get that NFT if you're just trying to sell everybody everything? You can't do that. So that's why these Star Connects happen. So Star Connect NFT, and you can create multiple editions. So you have your first edition, and let's say, you're going to only run that for like the first month. And you're like, hey, after this, I'll mint another one, but this is the OG one. So you can get multiple, but you can only sell or give one away at a time. So it's like a series or an edition, I guess we call it. So just a really cool way. And you'll be able to see as a creator how many people have how many of your editions. So if you're
Wow, it's like baseball cards or Pokemon cards. How cool.
OG fans have all of your
Freezes up for a
connects like
second.
trading cards, right? You can give them rewards. You can do things and you can tell who your OG fans are. Like you could say, hey, for those of you here that supported me from day one, because now we have that data, I'm going to give you this or that. Does that make sense? You guys tracking with me? What do you think of that? How's that sound?
Couldn't get much of
This
a
guys,
reaction.
this stuff was it was like such a big aha moment. I was
How many times have we had this big pivot, big aha moment? Oh, we're going to give this away for free. We're going to give that away for free. You know what you're doing? You're screwing with your existing investors. Those are the ones watching this call. You're screwing with your existing investors, changing the game over and over and over. Anybody who's excited about this should go, oh, fuck. You know, all that revenue they said was going to come in, and it's not going to come in anymore. I'm not going to get my 25%. Oh, fuck. So, I mean, that's what's really going on here.
It's like this is how we get millions and millions and millions of people on people on StarStake. It really is big. And so on top of that, it serves as a funnel. It's also a great way for you to create the Star Connect NFT that's personalized, has your face on it, it's your brand, whatever. You don't have to sell it. You get a landing page. You don't have to build anything. You get a special section to deliver content. And then you get a bridge page. And basically, that's the page that comes after they get your Star Connect. You can say,
I got a Star Connect NFT I was working on. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. I really did love this one. Here's my special Star Connect NFT. It's called a Weekend at Allen's. There's Byron Sneeringer and Chris Hawk Jones keeping Alan Friedland alive. It says, Alan may be dead, but energy and StarStake are the life of the party. Weekend at Allen's. I'll just leave it out there. That made me laugh. Back to the video.
say, hey, thanks for grabbing my Star Connect. You're officially my fan. I can't wait for you to become my super fan and earn star creds and
Ooh, Star Creds, super fan. Now we're getting into the royalty space. I wonder how you get royalties. This is where it gets meaty. I've had everything before this, just so you got the context for what's about to happen.
I'll explain that in a second. And then that page can say, hey, by the way, I just launched my new album, SNFT. Go ahead and grab that here. Click the link down below and go. So then you can start to kind of introduce the sale. You can introduce someone to say, hey, I got this really cool thing on top of that, right? So now it's not like you're just trying to sell from YouTube or wherever you're at to your fans. You can get them here and
Cool, you built a sales funnel. Cool.
they can be like, wow, I just got most people, you guys, this is going to be their first NFT they ever get in their life. So we need to make this experience sweet. We need to make this so beautiful and so great that people are like, oh, I read about NFTs and it sounds scary to me. This wasn't bad. This wasn't anything. This feels like just better than what I was using, right? Um, so basically the way this works is you have this and then people can start getting introduced. Okay. So it's really the front end. It's the very first, it's the ownership piece I just mentioned. It now allows you to own your community as a creator. And as a fan, how cool is that? I can just go around and collect all these different Star Connect NFTs, and some of them will have perks and cool content. And it's a collectible thing that costs zero money. And you guys, there's no gas fees. There's like you don't have to pay the gas to get these. It's really game changing in that regard. Okay. So that was the first layer that we needed to make sure we nailed, and that solves a lot of problems. The second one is the value layer, and this came up in a couple ways, and that's knowing the true value of every fan or customer, and the fans knowing their value to that creator or brand. Okay. Just because you get somebody to subscribe to your YouTube channel or buy your song or listen to your music, you don't know their real value. You don't know how much they're listening to that song. You don't know how much they're spending maybe with your product specifically. I guarantee you, Nike doesn't necessarily know. Chris Hawk doesn't know how many shoes and clothes and things I bought, or how many times I've been to their site. They don't have a profile on me. Okay.
I mean, they actually do. They know exactly what you bought. They do it via your credit card. They do it. A perfect example is that's why Walmart won't accept Apple Pay. Walmart won't accept Apple Pay because Apple Pay anonymizes every transaction. I mean, that's just a fact of life. Target had things for years where they were knowing when people were pregnant before they were pregnant because they knew what pregnant people bought. So That technology already exists outside of Web3, before Web3, long before Web3.
It's very hard to do because you can do this stuff all over the place, right? And you can do this stuff on Amazon. You don't have to do it on Nike. And so, what is the value, and how me as a brand, how can I reward my fans? And the way we built StarStake originally, and there's nothing wrong with it, it's just based, the way we measured this is the more you spent, say, for example, for an SNFT, it would allow you to get prioritized in the reward structure, which is not a bad, but that's one piece of the pie, right? So look, if I have somebody that buys all my products and spends the most amount of money, yeah, they're a big supporter. I do want to reward them more. And so that's, we looked at that, and that was a piece. But also on the other side, think about the fan. Where do I stand as a fan, and how does that determine my actions? We didn't have this data in StarStake, and we were like, man, we need to have this to drive the actions we want, because at the end of the day, it's the connections and relationships. So now as a creator, we create something called fan score. It's really unbelievable, super complicated to build, but we got it. So we built fan scores. So every fan, the second you get that Star Connect, and the second you get on StarStake, and when you start getting NFTs and making purchases and staking and doing all the cool things that you do, sending referrals to these creators and brands, that's calculated into your fan score. And so that fan score, and there's basically, I believe there's 4 different fan attributes, as we call them. I have it written down the board. There's your service score, customer score, ownership score, and loyalty score.
Well, this is interesting because before, you would get your royalties and everything like that. Now you're having to work for it. This has become a job. So let's listen to this, because I think this is interesting. We've gone from passive income to something a lot more active, per se.
Each one of those holds different points. And so, for example, your service score would be the things you help do for that fan or that star or brand. So do you send traffic to their NFT page? Do you share on social media? Like the things you do to be of service to them.
That's a job. Now, what that does here is, very interestingly, is, and Chris will get to this in a second, but now that you're actively participating and you're not sitting on your ass doing nothing, then you can be paid for doing that. That's important, because some other stuff before this that was discussed, pretty much the whole basis of the Ponzi was passive income. Now we have to be active in order to make income. Now this should piss off anybody who's bought one of these NFTs in the past, because everything was promised to them to be passive, sit on your hands. Now it's saying you have to be active and actually do things.
You get a chunk of rewards based on your points there, and you can see how you stack up, and the creators can see how you stack up and who their super fan is in the service realm. The next one is your customer score, and that's based on money. Who's my biggest spenders, right? Like who's spending the most? It just tracks that. The next one is your ownership score, and that just shows you like who owns all of my products or who owns just one. So it'll give you a higher score if you own maybe all of their Buck collection, multiple SNFTs, Access NFTs, Star Connects. Everything has a point structure and an algorithm built into that. It doesn't matter if you owned a bunch of NFTs, you'd have a higher score than someone that had one NFT and spent $1 million, perhaps, right? As far as that score, the ownership score. And then the fourth one is loyalty. And loyalty was a score that we made that was kind of an aggregate of those others. And that was a way for you to really check out like who has this top service, ownership, loyalty, and all those service scores, and to
Right, so we've gone from passive to massively active here. Again, you went from a passive income Ponzi to a full-time job in order to make money here.
what that means to a loyalty number and that score. So those 4 scores are used, and that's what determines your rewards. So this was really important because SNFTs, as you know it, you can stake an NFT and buy it. You have different offers, as you know, and you could spend $1,000. But now the rewards inside of that are determined by your fan score. So yes, if you're the big spender, then you'll get a big piece of that quarter of those rewards. But if you're a big service person or fan, you send lots of support to them, you'll get a bigger piece of that. And so it really,
Yeah, if you are actively participating. So everybody has to actively participate to get any rewards. Now, that's the fun legalese that they're going to talk about in a minute, but you have to be an active participant helping out in order to get any rewards, in order to for this to be respectful of the Howey test, which Chris will get into. I'm very happy he gets into that.
really drives action, and it really drives the proper behavior on StarStake. Secondly, This makes us as a company bulletproof. It addressed a major issue that a lot of people have, and helps us in the future with securities and regulations and things like that. And look, it's so open ended because of NFTs right now. Um, if you look at, like, the NFTs aren't a security, but they can be presented as one. And for those who don't know what securities are, I won't get into it, but like a stock is a security. Actually, a lot of things in life, a lot of memberships you have are securities, but there's specific things that they just regulate to protect consumers. And the kind of the Howey test, you've heard of this, kind of is the way that you look at, like, how is this a security?
This is really interesting because this stuff I've been harping on forever. It's what they've, and I don't care. Here, he's going to talk about the future right now. He said the Howey test, this is how you know what's security. I'm going to get back to that. But remember, this is talking about the future. In the past, they broke all these damn laws. I'm talking about in the past of this project. The Mission Series 1 NFT is an asset-backed security. Dildo dudes, which you might go, what the fuck are dildo dudes? You'll see, are an asset-backed security. All these energy coin itself is an asset-backed security. So it's cute that you talk about this going forward, but you've already fucked yourself in the past. And as you love to say, you don't have a DeLorean to go back in time. So where you've been, you don't need no roads. But back to Chris.
Security, and all it means is, like, if you're going to sell securities, you got to be registered with the SEC, and there's a lot of, like, red tape, and you don't want to go there, right? So you can't. And I think that, like, the best way to explain this in the Howey test is you can't have somebody make an investment of money.
You have to have somebody make an investment of money, which people are doing,
in a common enterprise with
a business, which is theirs. It's like this guy saying the same shit I said 2 months ago.
The expectation of making a profit from the efforts of others.
Yep, expectation to make profit from the efforts of others. So now, if you do not participate in that one action, which is helping spread, that one action essentially, in theory, for this project going forward, makes it, again, fail or pass the Howey test. It would no longer be a security, but that action would be taxable by the IRS. You are basically becoming an employee. I think that's the important thing to understand. You have now become an employee. So they've taken the whole, it's not a security, and now they got to get your social security number and issue a 1099 and everything like that because you're doing active work in order to get paid.
Right. So those things have to be there. And so even though on the back end, you guys, like, we knew about this a long time ago, we addressed it, and we had certain lawyers look.
You say that, Chris, but you're obviously doing a major pivot for some fucking reason. So, yeah.
Get at our model, and we built the code on the back end to make sure that it wasn't a security. So if somebody looked at it, like, it wasn't somebody spending money in a common enterprise with the expectation of profit. However,
well, but that's what your Mission Series 1 NFT is. Don't tell me it's a liquidity pool or whatever. You made promises of returns on the Mission Series 1 NFT. It's the same thing as Energy Coin, same thing as Energy Go, same thing as Builder Coin. It's the same thing as all that crap. You literally just laid out everything you've already done before, and you're saying, going forward, we'll respect the Howey test, but going in the past, we don't need to. Okay, cool, Chris.
The intent could be that way, right? So if you think about, we're like, okay, how are creators going to sell their SNFTs? Okay, they're going to go out there and you say, buy my SNFT, and I'm going to share 10% of my fan royalties and 5% of my Spotify revenue with you. There's nothing wrong with it. Like, that's a good thing, right? But
legally, they can't do that because you have to be a qualified investor to do that, to get royalties from a non-registered security, which is what they're issuing. Don't give me bullshit. It's a non-registered security, or you wouldn't be doing this pivot. To get those royalties from that you have to be an accredited investor, and you have to have over $1 million in net worth. You have to have at least $250,000 in income the last 2 years, or you have to be a registered financial friggin' advisor with a financial license. Come on, Chris.
It is also setting the wrong expectation. Basically, it's saying, hey, buy my SNFT, you can sit on your butt and watch me do all the work, and maybe you're going to get rich or something.
Whoa. Did Chris just describe the antithesis of everything they've sold before this point in time? I think he did.
Right. So it's it could set the wrong, it could put them in the wrong situation. And we as a company have to say we don't want to put creators in that situation, because that's honestly that's what I would say, because it's easy, right? Is say, hey, get this thing to get this thing. And that's just business in general. But when it comes to security law, and like if they feel if it looks like an investment, smells like an investment, it might, regardless whether it's an NFT, regardless if it's coded a specific way, it's the economic impact that it really has. All right.
You literally have said you're going to make a brand new Web3 economy. The economic impact's there, regardless of what you fucking call it. The economic impact's there. So you can't pay anybody anything. This is, I'm translating this for those of you that are investors here. You cannot pay anybody anything unless they do actual work from that pool, you know, referring some people to join or something like that, unless they do actual work from that pool, and that work is taxable. You have just become an employer, so you have to collect people's social security numbers when they sign up, because you are paying them for doing actions. I want to point that out.
So I know I'm getting deep here with y'all, but it's important. So we looked at this and we said, okay, we don't ever want to put creators in that position. We don't want to be at risk in the future. Look, I don't want to do all this work and the fortune that we've been spending on building this thing, and
the fortune that Alan's been spending. Yeah, we don't talk about Alan. No, no, no.
Time and the sacrifice for this, and then to have the government come in and say, hey, you're not, you know, you're not compliant. You got to change your whole model or something, because that's what happens, right? It's like, hey, you got.
It's exactly what happened to Alan Friedland and why he had to settle. Take a look. Put Alan Friedland CFTC into Google. See what you find.
To change this, you got to shut this down, or you're doing it wrong. And so we didn't ever want to open ourselves up to that, even though we knew we were doing the right thing to create the right product to help people. You have to attack it. And look, you guys, if you look around at NFT platforms right now, people know about securities and they avoid it because they don't know how to do it. They want to do it, right? Like Gary Vee talks about it all the time. He'll talk about, like, hey,
and these guys are smarter than Gary Vee.
Musicians can want to sell their NFTs and give their fans a portion of their success. Like, that's a good thing.
Doesn't matter how you slice, dice, or cut it. It's still an unregistered security. I don't care if you're putting action, if you're doing what. It's still a security.
But if it can be abused, it could be perceived improperly. And we as a company, because it's not us selling these, we're just creating the tool and we get a fee for that. Creators are going to be saying that, and it just takes the wrong person, right? We don't want the wrong person to go out there and say, hey, buy this thing and invest all this money or something, right? And then somebody gets ripped off. So we want to be prepared. Yes, getting ahead of the curve is important. And even if it delays us a bit, it's important. So we went out there, brought in one of the number one legal firms. Look, I was just like, I need to do a complete risk analysis from the best of the best just to get second, third, fourth opinion. And let's look at how we can attack it. And that was people say, Chris, well, why didn't you just do that in the beginning?
Yeah, good question, Chris, because Alan told Chris, told Byron, told Dwayne, Byron and Dwayne are the same guy. He told him it was all fine. And some guy sitting with no pants told him it was security. That's why they went and chased down security lawyers, because they believe what I said, and what I said is true and still holds true to this day. If it's not a security, then they are an employer. And if they're an employer, they have to get an employee identification number. They have to collect social security numbers and everything like that. So they're either an employer or they're a security. There's only two options there.
Here's why I didn't do this in the beginning. I didn't want to build a product around some government regulation or what we can't do.
Sounds just like Alan's settlement, because fuck the government. It's just Alan's settlement. That's all it is. They want to say, screw the government, screw this, screw that. We're going to do what we want. We're not going to pay taxes. We're not going to do anything. All these fuckers are going to get picked off by the IRS. That's where they're all going to get screwed over. That $700,000 went somewhere. Those of you that are out there that are going to lose money, class action lawsuit, I recommend. If you do need any evidence of it, I have it all. So feel free to write me on nopantsprofits@gmail.com.
Or what's going to be hard. I wanted to build a product and say, hey, how can we fix the problems and how can we make things better? And then figure out how it fits into that and how you make it work in the regulatory, spaces. And so that was our approach. But even though we knew about it, we knew how the SEC works. And so we built the code the way we did on the back end, but nobody can see that really. It's hard to tell. And so we said, hey, let's just revisit this. So we hired Nelson Mullins, one of the top legal firms in the world that represents some of the largest projects, companies, especially in the blockchain space. And they're very good with IP as well. And they did a full risk analysis on us. And this is not public information. We don't have to share this. We're not a public company anyway, but this is for us to.
Well, you're not a public company, but you've taken private investment in. You could say, oh, Alan built this all himself. But Energy is providing you liquidity. Your Minter tokens are providing you liquidity for this project, for this company. Don't give me bullshit. I know what's going on.
Know like where our weaknesses are, maybe where languaging is bad. Look, we're not perfect. We're going to say things the wrong way in the beginning. And so we just want to make sure that we're doing the right thing the right way moving forward when we do launch, right? And make the adjustment.
Right. So I think they admitted what they've done in the past is not legal because the StarStake NFTs failed the Howey test. The Energy coins, the Builder coins, the Minter coins, they all failed the Howey test. So, yeah.
Investments and pivot. So they came in, looked at it and said, yes, you're doing it right, but this, but do this.
You're doing it right, but this.
But you should probably change this or, just to be safe. And of course, guys, I have nothing against lawyers. They're great business people, but man, if that's all you do is listen to them, you'll never launch. You'll never get off the ground. It's very difficult.
Oh, sounds like the problem they're actually having. They're literally saying they're listening to lawyers and they're not going to launch.
So we had to look at it and say, okay, let's attack this now. We're not going to avoid it. We want to give rewards. We want there to be financial connections. There has to be. We have to fix this thing and fix the rocket, the industry. And so we just attacked it and we found a better way. And in fact, it changed the complete dynamics of StarStake in general. And that's how fan scores came about.
Right. That's how you now have a job. It's no longer a passive investment. It's a job.
Is now SNFTs are free, you guys. There's never, ever going to be an NFT that you have to buy with the expectation of money from a common enterprise of any sort, from the efforts of anything, because you only earn those rewards as a fan if your score is there, right?
And your score is only there by doing active work. So issue a 1099, get an employer identification number. Everyone that comes on is now an employee. Congratulations, you just went from securities to IRS. The IRS are much nastier than the SEC. May the force be with you.
Right? You can't just buy an NFT or even get a free NFT and sit on your butt and earn rewards. It's not.
Wait. Isn't that exactly what they want to do with Energy? You can't just buy an NFT or get a free NFT and sit on your butt and get rewards. Are they literally fucking over all of the investors from before? Because if so, that is hysterical. I don't know if this is going forwards or this is going backwards, but this is hysterical. So now you've gone from a passive investment to a job.
Possible. Okay. StarStake NFTs, which we had as just for sale only. Now those are free. You don't have to pay.
Wait. Now they're free. The things you bought are now free? I'm so confused. Things that were free. Okay.
Pay for them. And this isn't official. This is like when you see the official documentation, everything on the site, then you can say it's official. So for those of you who are going to try to poke holes in my words,
I'm not at all. I think this is brilliant. I just think now you have a whole nother problem because now you are actively employing people. So you've got to collect social security numbers. You got to have an HR department. You got to have all those other things like that because the money's come from somewhere. So now the money is coming from the efforts of the user, not from the efforts of others. So collect those social security numbers, file those 1099 MSCs, and every single one of your users that's actively getting rewards or star drops or whatever the hell you want to call them now needs to be taxed as such.
Go ahead. It's been a long day. But what I'm saying here is SNFTs will be free. Anybody can get them. They'll have rewards attached to them, but it's up to you as a fan to participate. So if you're a server,
if you don't participate, if you don't work, you're not going to get no money. Literally, he's saying that out loud.
If you're sending lots of traffic to somebody that boosts your service score, you get more rewards or you get better perks or benefits, right? If you own more of their products, if I own every Nike club, if I, own a bunch of shirts or something, whatever it is, then my score goes up and they reward me because I'm a more loyal fan, as it should be, right?
100% agree. And this is how it should have been from the beginning. But now you are not giving passive rewards. You are making your users into 1099 employees. taxable 1099 employees. Yeah, you don't have to do disclosures or anything like that, but if they do make more than $600 a year, you have to report to the IRS.
We can't just give away percentage of royalties or things for no reason. It doesn't make.
That was exactly what you said you were doing until today. Giving away royalties for no reason. It's literally the entire premise of your fucking business.
Any business sense. This does, because now they can motivate their fans and reward them. And now basically what we're doing, we're creating super fans. Like really, like truly. It's something that's been on my mind a long time, is like, how do we as creators see who our real big super fans are? Not the ones that are commenting the most just because they want to be seen, but like, I want to see you spent money, you've done things, you own things, you know, there's certain metrics here, and that becomes data that no other platform has. And this is data. Now think about it. What would you rather do if you were a brand, if you're Nike and you saw a couple people, you saw one person on YouTube with 1 million followers, you saw another person on StarStake that had 200,000 stakers or super fans with a really high fan score, meaning they purchased many things, they've helped support, they've shown engagement, they're loyal, all that data is there. You're going to spend money. It's a better spend for Nike to spend with 200 super fans than it is with 1 million.
200,000 super fans. Again, he's trying to minimize the, they only have 300, I'm rounding up, 300 people following them on Twitter and 500, 600 following them on YouTube. And just for fun, let's go to Facebook. They're trying to say that none of this really matters. ARSTAKE. Let's see how many are following them on Facebook. 177 on Facebook. So, yeah.
Followers that could just be bought, right? Think about that. That is a value. And you know what that does? That creates opportunity. That creates real opportunity for these creators, the thing that they're lacking. That doesn't determine what they do, right? They don't have to change how they do things or make music they don't want to make just because those platforms tell them that's how they have to do it to be seen in their algorithms. They just make the best product, the best offer possible. Their fans that love them and love that stuff are going to do what they're going to do anyway. And guess what? Now they will be rewarded appropriately. That's the power of what this is looking to do. So this mechanism was such a big piece. This layer, as I call it, was an integral piece. So we've built out the fan score system, those basically those fan attributes. The dashboards have changed, so now you'll be able to see your score as a fan. You don't have to purchase anything to get rewarded. You just have to.
Right. You just have to actually engage and do work, because this has now gone from passive income to a job.
Support and do what you're already doing, which is super.
Yeah, it's a job.
Super cool. So yeah, that was the value layer. Now I, as a fan, can see my value and how I stack up next to other people. Again, that helps me come back and participate and gives me a reason to be on StarStake. And also from the creator side, I can see where the value is. Makes sense, right? You guys jiving? Does that make sense? And I'll tell you about the third one. You with me? I can get some water.
All right, I'll copy him. I'll get some water.
Did I lose you? You guys fall asleep on me?
I hope you haven't fallen asleep on me. I'm giving you commentary where I can.
All right. All right. So lastly, the last layer we wanted to look at was the accessibility layer. And this is just something we've already done. And this was, we had to build the connection, the ownership, Star Connect. We needed the value, which is the way that, you value and you distribute rewards. It's not based on purchase or investment of money, nothing like that. It also, you guys, the last point, that it creates a lot of confidence. The one thing, like, it doesn't matter, like, we could do all the coding and all the things on the back end to make this thing completely compliant, and as we have done, but to a brand or a creator coming here, they just want to know that we're doing the things the right way. Part of the reason why we hired Nelson Mullins is we wanted people to know, like, hey, we've invested in this to.
But I'm still very interested to know whether people are going to get tax forms, because I think they need to get tax forms if they're doing active work. You are an employer. Certain states say you need to, if you have people in California and you have independent contractors, California says you got to provide them benefits now. This has got a lot more complex than crypto.
Make sure we're doing it right, because look, they're taking a risk to be on platform too. So they're taking a leap of faith in us. So we wanted to create all this information to reassure them that, look, in the future, there's not going to be something that comes out that StarStake's doing this or that. And look, people are, like I said, they're going to poke holes in every way that they want, especially before we launch. I've had even some people I've heard, I don't even like talking about it, it's a waste of my breath, but
Here we go. Let's talk about Mr. No Pants. And again, they haven't said any stars other than Shang, so let's listen to Chris.
saying, oh, StarStake doesn't have any creators on there. They're not going anywhere. It's just Chris's wife on there. Yeah.
Yeah. Please share some creators, Chris.
My wife's beautiful, and I like to showcase her as a demonstration, like, of what this thing's going to look like. But we haven't even launched yet. So to say.
So now they're not saying they don't have creators. They're just saying they haven't even launched yet. Remember, Alan said they had 250. Alan Friedland said they got 250 creators lined up, some with over 50 million subscribers on YouTube. That was for a launch in May of 2022.
That there's no creators on here. It's because we haven't opened the doors yet.
Okay, cool. So I'll hold you to that. When you open the doors, let's see the creators flow in.
We've been talking to hundreds of them, but look, I'm not going to put somebody in there and be like, hey, you got to wait around a little bit. So it's just funny how people will always bend what they want to bend. And again, you know what? I'll just say this.
Oh, he's going to say some positive things about Mr. No Pants now.
I don't hate these guys. The guys that
are
out there that are probably going to take this video and poke me and just say, oh, he said this, or they complete.
Actually, it's all great. I bet you he wasn't expecting me to say, I'm happy with all of this. The only thing is you've now created employees. So you've got to collect social security numbers. You've got to issue 1099 forms, because this has gone from a Ponzi scheme, which, hey, no longer a Ponzi scheme, to a full-time job. And I don't think that's what many people signed up for that are actually here. They signed up for passive income, and passive income has now gone el poo-poo.
Put out of context is fine. I actually
not out of context at all. I'm playing your entire stupid video. I'll even go back a little bit because I want this whole thing to play straight.
Always bend what they want to bend. And again, you know what? I'll just say this. I don't hate these guys. The guys that are out there that are probably going to take this video and poke me and just say, oh, he said this, or they completely put it out of context is fine. I actually appreciate them in a way because I know why they're doing it. And if you look at the behavior that these platforms have created, is how do they get paid? They get paid by getting more views. The bigger audience you have, the more you can be monetized. Right?
Keyword, this channel that this is on right now has 25 subscribers. 25 subscribers. Yes, I'm dead serious. It has 25 subscribers. Now, do I have a channel that has more subscribers? Of course I do. But you know what? I don't put these here, and I have not put these videos here for a long time. This channel is monetized. Has 1.93 thousand subscribers, and while we're at it, just because we're going to play this game, Chris's wife, well, has I don't want that to play, has 1.21 thousand subscribers. So the biggest star on StarStake is actually this guy who wears no pants and makes money right now, you know, because I'm talking about it. But yeah, this is a monetized channel, but it's not on No Pants Profits. It's on Results Not Typical, which has zero monetary benefit to me whatsoever.
Right? How do you get those views? Well, you create disruptive material. I'm not going to hate on that. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're lying, I have a problem with that. Or if you're bending context.
I've played your entire context here, and I think what you're doing is great. I bet you weren't expecting me to say that. But I do question whether your investors are going to be happy that they now have to get a full-time job with you to make money. Because that's what you're saying. You've admitted this. You've admitted this out loud, that you're not going to make money without actions, and whether you're going to be compliant with IRS procedures for 1099 employees.
Or saying things like, hey, Chris's wife is this or that, or you're saying things like, oh, StarStake doesn't have any create. Well, they're not even launched. So why not understand what we're doing and then create real media? But look, media is flawed in its own way. So regardless, I don't hate them, but I do appreciate their point of view because I know where they're coming from. Like, they have to feed.
Well, I don't have to feed my families this way. YouTube is fun for me. I am an investor full time. I make very good money longing and shorting stocks and doing everything like that. And I'd love to bring that back to my No Pants Profits channel as soon as the market restabilizes, because this is not a market new people want to trade in. But that's where I make a primary amount of my income.
feed their families if that's what they're doing, and they have to be seen. I don't believe there's some righteous reason they're doing it.
There actually is. I want crypto to succeed. If things like this scam people, which now we're not crypto anymore, to be honest with you. We've moved out of the spectrum of crypto, and I'm very happy for that. We're no longer in a crypto Ponzi. Literally, what they are proposing is a full-time or part-time job. Yeah, because you have to actively be involved. There's no more passive income, and that's how they're getting around the Howey test, and I'm very happy for that.
Some people, if you look at the people that really care about the vision of things, they've written amazing stuff about us, and we do appreciate.
Nobody's written amazing things about you. You've issued press releases. Every single one of those press releases has been written by you. If you're talking about in major publications, there might be things people are making on YouTube and stuff like that that's separate, but anything that's a major publication was done on as a press release by you.
Appreciate them. There's some that don't, and we just kind of like laugh it off because, look, there's nothing we can do. We will be judged by the quality of our product when it is released.
Yep, 100%. And I think you've made some right moves. I know. No pants saying you've made some right moves. Now, whether that's going to piss off your investors that have already invested and thought they can get passive income, that's something not for me to decide. But once they realize this, that would be real interesting.
So all this other stuff is just kind of like nonsense and distraction, which is it's in every company deal. Look at I always tell people that bring this up, I say, look at what happened with SpaceX. When SpaceX first came out, you guys probably know this, is they could not hire engineers to build these rockets. They couldn't hire engineers for these engines because it was one of the number one, if not the number one shorted stock of all time. People did not believe in what Elon was doing with SpaceX. Too hard, too expensive. It's just not possible, right? Everybody shorted to where nobody wanted to work for the company because they just saw it as a failure, too big of a risk, right? For them to leave their jobs and come over. And so Elon had to learn the things he had to, hence why they blew up $100 million rockets when they first started, right? Almost went bankrupt because they just couldn't get the quality of talent to help do otherwise.
Chris, you have no clue how much you and me agree on Elon, but I don't have a picture of him behind me. But you have no clue how much we actually agree. I even have another room. I don't want to grab it because I'm literally not wearing pants. I got a bottle of Tesla tequila. I've got scale models of the Cybertruck and everything like that. We're both Elon fans here. And like I said, I like the pivot you've done. The problem is you've opened a whole nother can of worms because now you're making people employees.
It's the same thing. Yes, they just make it a little bit harder because they put stuff out there and they don't understand the maybe the collateral damage that it causes. But we will be judged by the quality of our product, and I believe in our team and what we're doing for the right reasons. I know it's hard, guys, to be waiting and having delays, and I apologize for not being better at our S.
And like he says, we're going to have another delay. Remember, this was supposed to launch, oh God, supposed to launch December of 2021, January of 2022, supposed to launch May of 2022, November, December of 2022, by the end of January 2023 at the latest. And let's hear the next excuse.
Estimates. That's on me. That's on us and our team.
A little bit of a buffer delay here. This platform's not the best. The Star Hub, which is really just Mighty Networks.
But look, anytime you create a new product for the first time that's innovating, you're learning, and we're learning, and we're learning every day. We're learning something new and building, and we're rushing because we're trying to get it out the door. But these things just happen, and so we have to accept that. Okay. Anyways, so that's really what I wanted to share with you is the Star Connect that's being added currently right now. It's not far away from being done. The fan score is being done right now. The calculations we got it really cool. We've run actuaries on it, works, everything checks out. So we're just building the UI to display that, even just for a version 1. And then lastly is the way that you get StarStake NFTs. You don't have to purchase them, but it's cool because now you can just get it for free. You can get the rewards as long as you're participating on StarStake and doing things. But
that's a job again.
There's also incentives. So if there's different offers on the right-hand side, so maybe there's an SNFT offer, you got to look at like a membership. So you could get like a gold, silver, whatever. So instead of the free one, maybe you get a different one. And what you're paying for is not the SNFT, you're paying for the access, right? So if I'm Justin Bieber or something, I could say, hey, get my StarStake NFT and here's my reward program and whatever. And he can give whatever he wants with the free one, but it connects them to his music or whatever it is. He can say, hey, I have a gold, VIP membership club. It's $1,000. And I'm giving 3 backstage passes, access to me, music, You're paying for the access, things you care about as a fan. but it also gives you a multiple. It's a multiplier. So any rewards, say your fan score is, you know, 2 million and you have the free SNFT, if you're at a higher package, you'll have a multiple. So it just gives you like a different priority. It has nothing to do how much money you spent. It just, you're part of my VIP members club. Okay. So it gives you a multiple. So when you do get those points, they're worth more. That's all that does. It doesn't bypass that. So it's just a really cool way. You can have VIP, you can have all these different kind of clubs within your SNFT. And so it just, that dynamic is different. So we've gone through and changed a few things. We've cleaned it up, made it more simple, all this stuff. So that's where we're at on the updates. I know it's a lot to intake, but here's what we're looking at. We are really shooting to launch version 1 in the middle of February next month.
I guarantee you we're not going to launch. If you remember from my past videos, I said, what do? We just make up holidays. We say after holidays. The next one's Valentine's Day. Then we get President's Day on the February 20th after Valentine's Day. Then what was March? St. Patrick's Day. So we'll have a delay to St. Patrick's Day again. Once they realize in order to do this, they have to make IRS forms. They have to do financial disclosures. They have to collect social security numbers and everything like that.
Month. We're pushing the team hard. You guys, we're working as hard as possible. I think it's going to be, it'll be sometime in February. I'm confident that we'll hit February, but
we're going to have to hold him to that. That'll be sometime in February, and he's confident it's going to be in February.
I don't know. I can't give you a date. Like I can't say Valentine's Day it's going to launch, but we're looking at February.
I'm going to go with March, St. Patrick's Day.
Again, the core is done. Everything that we've been working on is done. It's been tested, just making some final tweaks. Now all we're doing is making the addition of saying, hey, you can only get rewards and do certain things when you have a fan score. The Star Connect, that's easy.
You can only get rewards when you do active activity. It's a job. It's no longer an investment. They literally turned an investment, a passive income Ponzi investment, into a job. I'm impressed, actually. Whether suckers, realize what's going on or not, that's what they really did. They turned it into a job.
That's in the process. That'll be done here in a week. And then the SNFT additions, just changing that a little bit on the contract on the blockchain. And then you guys, we're ready to roll, baby. I mean, this thing is so close. And now we're going to have something that nobody has. It's not just about buying NFTs for buying NFTs for, there's never going to be the false expectation of like, hey, I'm going to buy the star and get rich tomorrow. It's about, I want to be their super fan because they know I'm their super fan. Like, think about that. Like, to know, like, that artist, that brand knows who you are. You are the super fan, verifiable on the blockchain, by the way. StarStake goes away tomorrow. It's still there. Okay. And they own the community. Now guys are connected for life. And it's fun and exciting. I think you guys are going to love it. So I don't want to just spew out all this information, but I just wanted to kind of talk from the heart. And, every day I think of this, I do all this stuff for you guys because I want you to love it. I really do. I mean that dearly. Wouldn't spend the kind of money we've spent on this and time and frustration and arguments back and forth about should we or shouldn't we. I do it for you guys because I want you to have the product you deserve. I want us all to have it. I don't want to launch something because it was easy and it was fast. And normally I would never launch a product or a platform like this having as many features. You'd have one and then you build on that, but you just can't. It's like you can't launch the iPhone with phone calls without a touch screen. It just won't work, right? It's
Again, looking back to other products that have nothing to do with them.
it's about the thing. You got to do that. If you're going to do it well. And I really believe in that. And part of it is now, how do we interact with it? And that's what we've added here with these Star Connect things, and also making it so easy for people to come here and feel like, wow, that was easy. That was fun. I want to do more of that. If we can do that, you guys are going to be happy. For those of you that have, been with us for a long time, know live, you've been here since the beginning and you believe in this and you believe in me and believe in the team. I appreciate you all. I really, really, really do. I feel bad that I'm not in front of you more, and I'm going to get better at that myself and lead you better.
I feel bad that I've become another Alan.
To share all the things that we do so you can see inside of StarStake and you never feel like, oh, what are they really up to? Are they going to actually do this? Are they going to launch this thing?
I mean, obviously we've asked that question over and over and you keep delaying it for different reasons, but I digress.
I want you to know the conversations we have. I want you to know the struggles we have. I want you to know the breakthroughs we have when we have them. I have to get better as a leader to do that to you. So But I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for spending your evening with me. I know it's an hour. I thought it was going to be like 20 minutes. Nothing ever seems that way. But I will be on here more. Enjoy Star Hub. Please come in here and engage with each other. We cleaned it up.
All Star Hub is Mighty Networks. Google it.
So it's a lot easier to navigate now on the left-hand menu, just so you guys know. Let me just look at when you open up this side menu. I can't do it while I'm live, but you'll notice the main StarStake main or StarHub main. That's all the things that we post and we do and the updates, announcements, stuff like that. The groups on the left is where you guys can create your posts and interact with each other. We have the open chat there. Just come in here and say hello. Please do say, hey, Chris, what's up? I'll come in here and make sure I answer you. And I want to just let you guys be part of the process more, not just sit and waiting, because that's not fun for anybody. I know that. So because we're
People have been doing that for a long damn time.
real close. The second we open the doors in this thing, it's going to get bonkers and bananas around here.
Yeah, that sounds like an expectation of profits, but I'm no lawyer here.
So now is the time. I definitely want to get to know you guys better. And then we are doing just a quick thing, and we'll make a formal announcement. Maria, I think we'll be doing this. We will be holding or partnering with a summit. I think it's an innovation summit in Florida next month.
They're buying a table somewhere. That's all they're doing.
February 14th, Valentine's Day. So we'll be doing.
It's actually February 17th, but okay.
We'll be participating at this international. It's not international. Innovation Summit. I forget the name. Gosh, can't remember it. But it's a really great opportunity for us to Synapse Innovation Summit. Thank you, Maria. So we'll have a booth there. We'll be having some presentations, doing some really cool stuff. Really, just to talk to more B2B customers and clients that future.
You mean B2B, not BNB. BNB is Binance, but
clients hopefully. And just get exposure, put ourselves out there. So we'll send you some details. If you're in Florida, we'd love to see and meet you. I will be there. I think if things go well, we have to finalize the details, but just another thing, just another check mark and on our way to getting this out the door and letting everybody enjoy it. So with that, thanks everybody. I appreciate you all. Until then, I will continue to post more content for you all to enjoy and share some screenshots of the new fan score, Star Connect, SNFT stuff. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
All right. So we ran that all the way to the end. What do I think of it? I think they did a great job listening. I think they've opened a whole nother can of worms, which they're no longer providing passive income, but they are now employing people. Technically, they've created 1099 employees. Those rewards are paychecks. They're doing active work to get the rewards. That's a 1099 employee. You make over $600 a year, you got to issue a tax form. So up front, before you pay anyone, you got to ask for everyone's social security number. Be aware of that. They've opened a whole nother can of worms, and trust me, the IRS has a much nastier can of worms than the SEC. So I hope they're compliant on IRS side. I've given you my comments throughout. I don't think it's going to be successful still. I don't think they have stars still. We'll wait till it comes out to say if it's going to be successful or if it's going to have stars because, hey, I think that's fair. I'll agree with them, but that's my thoughts on all of it. I don't know if this is going back in time because, yeah, they sold a lot of securities in the past or it's just going forward. But remember, like they like to say, you know, where they're going, they don't need roads. You know, do you have a DeLorean to go back in time and change this all in the past? And once people understand what's really going on here, because trust me, it takes this whole explanation video for me to explain it to you. Once they understand what's really going on here, are they going to be angry that this has gone from passive income to an actual job? There's my questions. That's what I have out there. If you got any questions, comments, concerns, leave them below. I don't delete anything that I put up. This is Richard from No Pants Profits. Again, you can email me, nopantsprofits@gmail.com. Again, this is not on No Pants Profits, on Results Not Typical. You can also email resultsnottypical@gmail.com, but I'm not going to see it because I don't check that email address. You got any questions, comments, concerns, leave them down below. You want to have a chat? Feel free, shoot me an email. Remember, no matter how you slice or dice it, you know, the government's always going to get their cut of money. And I don't really love that either, but I pay my taxes on my YouTube revenue. I pay it when I need to. And, you know, when you're wearing no pants, even when the government's involved, there's only one thing you got left to lose. You know what that is? That's your shirt. Have a great one. Anybody? Any big questions? Leave below. Bye.